data yajyaga ambwira ko umwana wari yatinda kwiba ko rwatubyaye ntacyo rutwima oya umururumba ntukaturange unyemerere mbanure icyo dupfa ntakiruta icyo dupfa gira neza uzabiturwa kandi nugira nabi bizakugora hora Rwanda naje hora mbyeyi naje hora mfubyi naje nzanye urukundo ubumwe n'inganzo igihe n'iki nanjye ndanga impanuro ngaho ndaje ngaho ndaje ngaho ndaje ngaho ndaje.
Greetings. I'm Lauren Apter-Bairnsfather, Director of the Holocaust Center of Pittsburgh. The plan for the Holocaust Center and for Prime Stage Theater to work together to offer a play for Genocide Awareness Month took form last summer and progressed surely despite ongoing concerns about COVID-19 and the uncertainty it has brought to all of us. We're about to meet the author of Left to Tell, the book upon which Miracle in Rwanda was based, and speak with Malaika Uwamahoro, the astonishing lead in tonight's play. Before that, I want to thank the incredible staff members of Prime Stage and the Holocaust Center, everyone involved in the production this evening, and the Jewish Women's Foundation for sponsoring the play and some activities we have planned with schools and organizations serving women and girls locally in Pittsburgh. Starting April 16th through April 26th, tonight's performance will be available to stream on demand with captioning in English, French, and Kinyarwanda. Please join us for a program about the play with the Holocaust and Genocide Center in Johannesburg, with participants from Rwanda on April 18th. Left to Tell, the book upon which Miracle in Rwanda is based, has received a Christopher Award affirming the highest values of human spirit and part of the curriculum for dozens of high schools and universities, including Villanova University, which selected it for their one-book program, making Left to Tell mandatory reading for its 6,000 students. I have read the book, and I can say that the book will open your mind and heart in ways you cannot anticipate. Immaculée Ilibagiza has written 6 additional books in recent years, and I am honored, and I must say so humbled, to welcome her to join us virtually. And now I'll tell you a little bit more about Malaika, and then we have some questions, and I'm hoping Malaika will also ask some questions. Malaika is an artist born in Rwanda and a theater studies BA graduate from Fordham University in New York City on the acting track. She was able to attend Fordham as a proud recipient of a Rwandan presidential scholarship. Malaika has performed her own poetry on stages around the world, including Forbes Women Africa in Durban, South Africa, the United Nations headquarters in New York, and African Union summits in Addis Ababa and Kigali. So welcome to Immaculée, and welcome back, Malaika. Immaculée, I want to ask you first. Left to Tell was published 15 years ago. Are you
Yes.
Yes. So are you surprised that your story continues to resonate with people?
I am not fully surprised why it does resonate with people. Definitely it is, it's like the Bible, you know, the story of humankind, a human person. Another person will feel it and we will connect because our life is the same. We go through the same thing in some ways in terms of emotions. We laugh for the same reasons, we cry for the same reasons. So I guess whoever will find my book anew, obviously it wasn't read by the whole world, will connect to that. I was more surprised in the beginning
Yes.
when connected to that. I'm like, oh, I thought those were my feelings. Nobody else is going through this trouble of forgiving. No one else have gone through that. I thought everyone else find it so easy. It's to just like forgive and let go. So when the first time my book came out and I saw how people can say, I felt that exactly. When this happened, I felt the same way. I'm like, oh, thank you. I'm glad that you can feel what I wanted to say, what I felt. And when I was writing this book, I remember I couldn't speak to anybody. I didn't want anyone to say, you should have felt that way. Because so I truly believe when we're authentic, sincere, honest with our feelings, the other people will feel. We don't have to feel how another human being feels. It's your life. But once again, we come from that deep, honest in our hearts, another human being will know what you mean. So I am glad that people connected and thank God that people continue to feel.
I really connected with the story, so I understand, even though, of course, my experience is not anything like it, in any way, but it's a story of human nature, is how I thought about it. For human potential, on the one hand, to be seduced into evil, and then the opposite, the human potential to forgive, which is what you write about so beautifully. So I'm wondering, can you just tell us a little bit more about that and how you were able to forgive? What was that journey like?
It was a hard journey in ways that I never thought that was going to be possible. But I think what was hard for me is that I didn't even want to forgive. I didn't even think that it was possible. But from what I knew, I can feel in my body, in my heart, it was that I was so much in pain for the anger I felt. But also my anger was not fully justified. Something in me was calling me to feel peace as I used to feel. But I can't be innocent as if this is not happening. But also I feel like this is not what it's supposed to be. So anytime I was praying aloud, I had my rosary and Marika plays it very nicely. And I was just thinking, praying, and I know they tell us we should forgive and actually pray for those who hurt us. But then I didn't even understand what forgiveness is about. And I feel like the way God created the world is perfect. That if hatred is happening and a genocide is happening, is like almost, I felt as if it was like we have failed to do something right. And what we failed to do right was to love one another, to forgive, to let go, to understand. So if I am in this pain of anger, there must be something that is not right. I just felt like peace was the way. Peace was the rock. Love was the rock. And if I'm out of that, with what is happening to me, something must change in me. And I knew I was called to let go that anger. So when I was able to accept finally that I have to let go this anger, I wish I can feel innocent again. And I think it can be possible. That when it was a little bit much easier to let go the anger, because now I accepted peace is the way, love is the way. There has to be somewhere that I should be unmovable and just defend what matters most, which is love, which is peace, which is truth, and protection of one another. And it was so clear to me that I am being attracted by the things I hate. I was angry. I wanted revenge. And yet it was the same thing I didn't like. So then I was confused, but I don't like what they're doing to me, and yet I want to do the same. So with all that, I think the silence I went through for those 3 months, it really allowed me to go deep in my heart and really come to know what matters most. I went through a journey just through our Lord's Prayer, as Christians say. I wanted to be authentic Christian. I wanted to mean what I say. If I say these words as a prayer, I want to mean it. I remember just the prayer for our Father, went through this, our Father. As simple as that, as me who just said, I am a Christian, and I need to be honest Christian. And if I would say our Father, it would mean the Father of everybody. But if he's the father of everybody, that means he will be the father of the killers. And he cannot be the father of the killers. Even that alone was like, it's a fight in my heart. And I had to make peace with that so that, again, I can come in sincerity. And I remember thinking, well, let me think about it. My father have 3 boys and me. If one of my brother does wrong, Does my dad stop being their father? No, actually, my dad will be worried about the bad one. We'll lose sleep about the bad one because he's now, become really terrible. And how can we change him? What can we do to help the situation? I'm like, okay, fine. You are the father of the bad and the good, just like my father is. And then I went through forgive as we forgive. And how is that possible? How can I mean these words? But again, if I say I'm a Christian, I need to be sincere with what I believe in. So that really helped me also to keep asking and inside asking God, help me. I want to let it go, but help me. You have to help me. I don't know how to do it. If you are God Almighty, you can do all things. And I remember just it clicked one time. I was praying the rosary and I reached to the part. Again, I truly praise the silence, the time I took. And I really wish to encourage everyone to take time to talk to God. To take a time, many people will call it meditation, just to be silent. There is so much that happens in our hearts when we take time to be silent. And let it be. Let it be. So many answers will come. And to me, my meditation is through prayer. So as I was praying, I remember going through the part when our Lord was on the cross and he was dying, and especially when he said, forgive them, they don't know what they do. It wasn't the first part that changed me. It was the second part that said they don't know what they do. It was like I knew these words always, but now he's forgiving the same people who are literally killing him on the cross. But what he said, they don't know what they do. It was what really touched me. It was as if he was talking to me. The people who are trying to kill you, who are killing you people, they don't even mention the consequences that will come on them. And you trying to be like them doesn't change anything. Learn from me. Let go the anger. It was as if the world was divided in two parts. All of a sudden, I felt like there was a part of love and a part of hate. And we cannot stand in two parts. We have to belong to one. And I realized I wasn't a part of hate. I was planning to revenge. I was planning things I can't even really do in real life. In my life, I never touched the gun. I never touched the grenade. But in my mind, I was like, I will fly planes. Of course, I don't know how to fly a plane. I will fly planes and I will throw grenades all over the country. Our imagination can take us there. And with that alone, my body will be sweating out of anger. With that alone, my heart will be, beating fast out of anger. And that was scaring me. So when I got where I realized there's two parts, part of love, part of hate, I realized on the part of love, there are people like Mother Teresa, people like Mandela, a man we know have suffered 27 years in prison, and here comes out and offer forgiveness and actually want people to reconcile. And then there's also somebody like Gandhi, as we know in history of peace. And on the side of hate were people like Hitler, people like those who were killing us in the genocide, people like me in that moment who was thinking about, revenging. And I felt like I had the choice to make. Who do you admire? Who do you want to be with? And all of a sudden I realized that the people on the side of love, like Mandela, Gandhi, Mother Teresa, Saint Francis, the saints we know in the Catholic, I realized that these are the people who have suffered, they have known injustice, they have known hatred, and they have hurt. But no matter what happens to them, they don't think just about them. They think about what is bigger. They will defend the truth, they will defend love, they will defend justice, even if injustice has been done to them. And who knows best than them how it feels like to be hated? Who knows more than them how it feels like for injustice to be done towards you? And when I saw that, it was like I got the formula. Now I know where to be and how to be. And no matter how I suffer, I will continue always to stand up for what is truth and what is peaceful, even if it is me who does it. Because truth is much bigger than just me and my own feelings personally. Or it was like a huge luggage was lifted from my shoulders and I was free. Now I can really, even in my prayers, pray for the killers. And also another dimension was added to me was that if I can change and see this differently, why not somebody who's killing? So people have a chance to see and to know that actually they can change. So not only I have to move and be on the side of love and defend love, but I also have to trust and to wish and to win, to will, to pray for the people on the side of the bad, as I was in my thought, to move, to see the light, because anyone can change. Nobody's evil. That is how I was seeing it. People are evil. They're just evil. They never change. And all of a sudden I realized, no, they do, because you just changed too. So, and to me, that gave me so much peace, just to understand what forgiveness is. And I really want to say, please, forgiveness doesn't mean that you trust people. Forgiving is praying for them, opening your heart to see the good, and actually realizing who really have done you wrong. Because I remember when I was hating everybody from the other tribe, all the Hutus, I realized when I was able to let go the anger that I was hating even innocent people. The man who protected me was a Hutu. And now I was putting him in everybody. Because when you hate the tribe, you are hating everyone. You're not removing one. So I was hating children who are not even born yet. How fair that is. Because I was just angry, then I became blind. And that when it was gone, then I was able to see clearly who did what. And then I can be objective, who to trust, not to trust. But each one of them, I have to pray for whoever I think is mean. To this day, one of my best friends is a person who is a Hutu. And she's beautiful. We talk, she have cried for me. We have gone to bury the remains of my parents where they have killed them. And she's like, I'm ashamed to be called Hutu. I'm like, no, it's not you. Yes, I can understand what you feel, but please don't take it personal. You are a good person. And you hurt for you the person, helping me. So we have to be careful, but we must forgive. Because when we don't forgive, it's like a sickness of the heart. We become blind. And then we hurt innocent people. We confuse them with who is who. People who get angry, you hate somebody who looks like the person who hurt you. And then you hate the people who dress like them, who speak like them. Most of the time we end up hating a whole country. We hate a whole family. We hate a whole race, a whole tribe. And the consequences is like what happened to us in Rwanda. So if you forgive, please will to forgive. And if you will to forgive, you understand it and you will to go there. Even when you are not able, you will be able to do as long as the will is there. And it makes so much sense. And it is freedom.
That's amazing.
That is so powerful.
That's so powerful. Thank you, Immaculée. You're so inspiring. Thank you.
That is sinking in. And we have some audience here and everyone is nodding and reacting. I mean, it's so powerful to hear these words from you. The book and the play, we get an intimate look at your relationship to your faith. So for the audience members who've now seen the play but maybe haven't read the book, what does your faith mean to you now? What has it meant to you and what does it mean to you now?
Oh, thank you. My faith means everything, truly. It means like a parent who is guiding a child. It means like a teacher who is guiding a school. Do this, come to school this time, and do this. So it is, I will never wish to tell somebody, change your faith, do this like this. But wherever you are, be faithful. Because it is a guidance that I don't know how I will do without. Even when I was able to let go the anger, as I just shared, it came from my faith. It was my faith telling me, do you believe in me? If you do, then are you practicing? Are you truly being? Are you being authentic to your faith? And me fighting with myself, because what it made sense to me was the anger. That's what I knew. I never went through something like what I was going through, where my mom is being killed, my dad is being searched for, everyone who looked like me, everyone in my tribe is being looked for to be killed. The genocide, I cannot put in words the suffering it caused. I never knew that you can go through such a suffering. It was just so terrible. So when everything seemed like it had failed, I remember when I, growing up really innocently, again, like a family that sheltered you, I thought we vote for leaders because they're smarter than everybody else, because they can make a better decision than everybody else. So me, I put my trust in the elder people, in the leaders. So when you realize that the person you thought was protecting you is the one who wants to kill you, like, wait, so then what should I trust? And even my parents who loved me and I knew they can die for me, all of a sudden they were gone, they were dead. So I'm like, but even them, I was a little bit angry at them. Like, you never told me this can happen. So when I realized all that, really one thing I felt like never failed me was God, was to know that. And I remember kind of putting him to test. So if you are there, and let me know who you are, I took the Bible, tried to understand who God is, let me see if you fail or at any of your promise. He never promised that we would never go through pain. But he promised to help us for those who would ask for help. So that alone, I was like, okay, you said ask shall be given. Knock, the door will be open. And so I'm going to ask you, if I'm asking, please don't let these people open the door of the bathroom. And if you don't doubt, it will happen. So there's so many little things I saw that where I realized that I need to do my part. Because if I want my God to be faithful to me, I need to be faithful to him. If a teacher says, I'm going to teach you, and say, don't be distracted, don't look at your phone. If you don't care and you just go on the phone and you're still looking, you are not going to pass the exam because you were not there. You didn't listen to the instructions. So my faith, I'm watching it and I want to be faithful to it. So then I can really benefit from the promises I have. And again, that's the only thing I can tell everyone, wherever you are in your faith, please be faithful. If I find in my heart, maybe somebody hurt me and I'm not forgiving to this day, I have forgiven what happened to me during the genocide, and that was gone. But to this day, I live just like you, like any other human being. Every betrayal, it hurts, and it feels new. Every piece, it feels new. Many times I'm like, I wish you can go. You see what you just caused me. And when I pray, I'm like, no. I went through that during the genocide. This person, they don't need to go through what I went through or what they caused me. Only God can touch their heart. My job, let me protect myself, but let me pray for them. Because I do not want to wish them bad. Sometimes we think if we hurt somebody, that they will get it. They might not get it. And actually, we'll create more mess after that. That's how we do. I hurt you more. And then I hurt you more. And I revenge more. So really my faith is what shapes me. That's where I get the guidance. Love, as our Lord said, the greatest commandment, that's it. Anytime I wake up, I'm like, okay, another chance to love, another chance to do good. And if I succeed to do something good, reaching out to another person, love others as I love myself, care for me, but care for others, I feel like I have done good. And I'm aware through faith and through reality that our life is only a passage. What matters is not you die, is how you die, is how you have lived. If you live good and if you have done good, that goodness will live forever. When I see people in Japan, South Africa, South America, reading my book and tell me, you dad have inspired you us to be better fathers, to care for our families. You mom have inspired us to be better moms, to care for our families, to give ourselves. I'm like, it seems like they didn't die. So the good we do does not die. But how do you remain in good when you get confused? Because, the faith is everything. I pray every day. I really try to do act of love every day. I look at myself, I'm like, why do I have these hands if they are not capable to do good? Why will God give me legs if they are not capable to go out and do something good and reach out to others? Why do I have a voice if this voice is not there to do something good, to speak goodness, uplift another person, encourage them, speak on behalf of the poor? Then I have to use what I have. And that's my faith that encourages me. Because the world wants to measure. If you love me, then I will love you. If you hate me, then I don't have to. But the faith says, no, go out. Do good to strangers. Do good to everybody. We are all the creatures, the children of God. So I do pray when I wake up. I pray before I sleep. Throughout the day, I have songs of praise. During the day, I read my Bible. I have books, I have books of faith in different subjects. I literally have like 5 books around here in the hotel. And I have them. And of course, 2 days I was here giving a retreat. And I haven't even read, through a few pages, but I go through one by one. I'll get inspired. And that what feeds me, to do good, to pray. And I can only encourage others to do that.
You're incredible.
Beautiful.
You really are. I'm so touched by your words. So Malaika, I want to ask you, what was the experience of portraying Immaculée?
Well, I first came across Immaculée's story in 2009. My mom gave me her book, Left to Tell, and said, Malaika, read this book. I think my mom had a difficulty explaining the genocide against the Tutsi to me. So, you know, she would always pass me books. Read this, watch this, watch this. So she gave me this book and I read it and I was like, Mom, she hid in a bathroom for 3 months. And she's like, yeah, isn't that crazy? And I'm like, yeah, that's insane. And then a couple of years later, in 2014, I was at the UN and Immaculée was there and we were going through the security, you know how you had to go through the security part? And she was standing right in front of me and I was like, hi, are you Immaculée? And she was like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, you don't know me, but I read your book and it was so lovely. And then I had a performance and then me and Immaculée talked after that performance. And then in 2019, that's when I had the first opportunity to act as Immaculée. And I was just so shocked, like how everything had happened, how I had read her story before, and 10 years later, I'm playing her. And Immaculée is inspirational. I think she answered a lot of questions that I wouldn't have otherwise, you know, had the answers to. Being a young Rwandan, you know, and learning what happened to your people, what happened to your country. I remember feeling such shame and such anger that this happened from, you know, from where I live. And even when I was growing up, because I grew up in Uganda and in the United States. So when I was growing up, I remember not wanting to be associated with Rwanda because I knew that this country had caused my family so much pain, has caused us to run, has caused my grandma to cry whenever she's listening on the radio. I don't understand why, but she's crying. Has caused, you know, just a lot of negative feelings. So I didn't want anything to do with it. And then when when we moved back to Rwanda in 2001, and I got to see how beautiful it is, how beautiful our people are, and to properly learn the history of what really happened, how it happened. And then reading Immaculée's book was like an entry into entering the topic of forgiveness. How do you even begin to forgive? So I think I've always looked up to Immaculée in that way, and being able to play her story has been an honor, to be able to step in her shoes in a way and try and bring my authentic self and merge it with her authentic self, I think has been something that, you know, I just want to continue to apply in my life.
I wanted to ask you what resonates with you in her story. You told us a little, but I'm sure that there's more.
There's a lot that resonates, but I think I will say in this play, I play 16 different characters. And one thing that always hits me is the fact that I have to make different choices. For the pastor, I have to make the choice to save Immaculée or not. For the killer, I have to make the choice to go hunt people. For Immaculée, I have to make the choice to, you know, hide, to stay silent, to try and be polite with the pastor, to fight with God. And all of these are different choices. And I realize in myself how many ranges of choice that I have and the power of choice that I have. So I think that what resonates the most with me is, you know, the fact that I have the choice, that we all have the choice within us to make good decisions. You know what I'm saying? It's inside us. It's not something we have to go to a seminar for, or we have to pay $1 million for. It's something that is already inside of us, and we have the power to make those really powerful choices. So that's something that really resonates and sticks with me. And Immaculée every day chooses to forgive. You know, that's a choice that she makes, and it works.
Marika, you played me better than I couldn't believe this is better me. And actually do it and make me feel really like, my God, that was me.
Gosh, I don't know. I think that's one of the hugest compliments ever. That's great. Thank you so much, Immaculée.
Leslie, who have done a great job with her team to write this.
Yes.
My goodness, I am so grateful.
Yes, absolutely.
And I'm grateful to be sitting here talking to both of you in this moment. It is an amazing experience. It really is. So I asked a question of Malaika right after the play. What is the song you sing in the play?
The song I sing it says Imani Shimwe, and that means praise be to God. And yeah, that's what it means.
Amani Shime.
Yes, Ishimwe.
Ishimwe.
Yes, there you go. Nice.
It's so beautiful. I know people will want to know what you're singing, so I had to ask. Immaculée, have you returned to Rwanda?
I do. I go there a lot in Rwanda. Like Malaika, when I left my village, I'm like, that's it. I'll never go back. Playboy you loved, and look at what they did to us. Of the genocide, I'm like, if only I can touch the ground. If only I can touch the room where my mom slept. And I went right away back, in my village, in a destroyed place, but I went back. So now I live in the US. I go back, There's something like, the people you lived with, no one will ever understand them more than you, who have been there, who have suffered with that. So I do have charity in Rwanda. I have children I pay school with, building a school, helping some, church struggling sometimes the best I can with the help of many. But I can never forget Rwanda. Rwanda, like I said, the pain of Rwandans, it because you lived it. So when you see other people sometimes try to understand you, and you have been there, you can't just turn your mind and say, I won't look back. So I love people, the culture, where you come from. Again, you will never be understood either than the people you grew up with. So I still go to my village, and I met people who have killed my cousin, and who have, of course, really showed it, the heart of asking for forgiveness, and who have been left through mercy, the mercy in the country, what we call gachacha, reconciliation, who have been left out of the prison. And I meet them, and we talk, and we laugh about the past. And it really, again, to me, I call it the grace of God. But again, I love them. These are the people who know you growing up. So you can't reject that. I do go to Rwanda many times, actually. And I have work there, like charity work.
What would you like us to know about Rwanda in 2021?
Wow, that's a big question. Well, I wish to tell people that it is actually a beautiful country, really, just like God given. It's 1,000 hills, beautiful hills, really. I mean, I take Americans to visit every year, and anytime we come out of the airport, I'm proud because they see the country is very clean. It's amazing. Where Rwanda was 27 years ago, it maybe is 20 times more better than what it was. So it's very peaceful. That anyone can just feel it. Very clean. People are really kind. It's so bad when we talk about this terrible genocide. It happened, but most people who have done it, they have run away from the country. And others you see outside are people who have truly apologized, who were misled. So I just wish people to trust that Rwanda is beautiful and people are good at heart. And if this can happen to Rwanda, where people can actually do what they did because of bad governance, we really have to pray and keep love in our hearts, because we realize it can happen anywhere, really. But it's a beautiful country. I want people to visit. But something in Rwanda we pride in is hospitality.
Yes.
So when every Rwandan is like, how are you? Did you like it? You want money? They escort you. In Rwanda, we always say, so when you have a home, your best room is for the guests. Your best chair is for the guests. So it's nice when you take people from outside because you know they're going to be well treated and they're going to be amazed. So it helps to have that culture. I take them to a place called Kibeho, where I do most of the work. So there's a big feast that we do once a year in November, and August also a big ceremony of Mary, in the Catholic Church Mass. And then when I take like Americans, we are like 40 people most of the time. When we get there, all of a sudden, Rwandan, they make the way without any question to give them people to sit in front. And then I was like, oh my God, but this is not right that they give us the seat. We come to their country, I'm like, yeah, more reason to give you the best seat because you are foreigners. Because you don't know your whereabouts. People want to make sure that you are well received. Like, really? That's why? Yes, that's why exactly. You come from Uganda, next country, they will always give you the best seat. You come from Congo, you come from the next country, Rwandans know at heart we need to treat them. They don't know. Once they hear you speak a different language, like, we need to care for them. They don't know where their way back. It's a really beautiful country.
Yeah. It's definitely a beautiful country and one of the most peaceful in the world at the moment. And just to add on, like being a young Rwandan growing up in Rwanda and learning of our past, we have great leadership. And one of the things that our leadership has done is going back to our values before the genocide, before colonization, because we had amazing values as Rwandans then. We considered ourselves one people, and we're bringing that back. We no longer have identity cards that, say Hutu, Tutsi, and Twa. We're now all Rwandan in our passports and identity cards. We just find the values that we had before the colonization, and we bring that to use in our everyday life today. So I think that's really inspiring, and growing up, a young Rwandan, that's something that you can really feel now.
And that was not an easy thing to do. When they removed the identity cards, they removed the tribe. Because if you went to a doctor, you have to write down, are you Tutsi, are you Hutu? If you went to do exam in school, you have to say if you are Hutu or Tutsi. If you asked to apply for a job, you have to say who you are. Every building you have to go in was, identity card. If you don't have identity card, you can be in prison. So you just knew they were using it to discriminate you. So now that the country is peaceful and really the government is mixed, even if again you don't know who is who, because there's no more tribes, at least now you can defend us. Can we be proud to be Tutsi? Do you really have to remove the name now? But it was a great decision of the government to remove them, because you can't know what it means to do an exam and you don't have to write your tribe, because you know they're going to discriminate you from what you wrote, not how you did an exam. So children of today, I'm like, good for you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Wow. So April is Genocide Awareness Month, and this week includes both Kwibuka, the commemoration of the genocide against the Tutsi, and just the other day we marked Yom HaShoah, which is Holocaust Remembrance Day. And just that they happened right next to each other this year, I'm thinking all the time at this time of year, the meaning of never again. Because of course we said it after the Holocaust, but genocides have happened since then. So I wanted to ask each of you what never again means to you.
Yeah, for me, never again means never again. I'm a young Rwandan, but I know I'm now responsible. I'm in my 30s. So if, I'm around friends and they want to have some genocide ideology conversations, never again for me means no, we're not going to have that conversation. We can have a conversation to why we're not going to have that conversation, where, it means that I take the responsibility to never let this kind of ideology be cool or be a thing. It is something, having a genocide ideology is something that is so wrong, and I will never let something like this happen again around me. It is a commitment I have to myself and I have to my country.
Never again. I remember when I came to the US in 1998, it was then I found out about the never again after the Holocaust that was said. And I was so upset. I'm like, then what happened then? Like you almost want to find who is responsible. And of course, what happened is horrible and what keep continue to happen in the world. It's like, why they didn't listen to this never again? And again, who are you talking to? Because you want again to find that guilty person who never respected that decision and that talk never again, because it's so beautiful and it should be respected. But after time I realized that no matter what we say, of course, is nothing unless we put it in practice. And no matter what we put in practice, I cannot expect anybody else to do it. I have to do me. I have to be the one who have to decide to love. I have to be the one who decide to look at another person and not look at them as a tribe, as a race, or even as from that country or from a religion. I need to accept this person as a creator as I am, as a human being as I am, and see what makes them cry, what makes them sad, and try to protect them the best I can. So you really can't change anybody. It's never again, but it is being spoken to me and you and everyone in the audience and all of us. And if we fail as a group, it will happen again. But at least I can be at peace saying, yes, every day I try to never again, to respect that individually.
It's the same kind of message that we're trying to give from the Holocaust Center of Pittsburgh because, of course, we know that it continues to happen in the world and that we are far from being a world without genocide. And the idea that each of us has a responsibility, even if we can't fix the world as individuals, there are so many things we can do right now. So I'm really moved by what both of you just said, that we have a role to play. Even if we can't fix the world today, there's a lot that we can do. So
you do as you are doing, what Malika just did, the strength we have, each one of us individually, as long as we try to encourage each other to do the best you can. Some people are doctors, they can love and they can care, they can do good. And they have done their part. Another person is a teacher who can reach millions of people. I remember one time I met President Bush. And that time I remember he told me, he said, "You book have helped me to know what to do with that food." Because there was again a genocide happening,
yes,
just to see the pain of a human person. And I'm like, oh my God, you're right. So this is a person who decided never again in his way and to do good and who can change the world in many different ways. Each one of us in our capacity, just to do good and not to go in that way of hate that always bring people to hurt each other. Yeah.
I know that everyone who hears this conversation will take a lot from it. So in conclusion, I wish we could talk all night, but I have to conclude. What message, and to both of you, what message would you like to leave people with tonight? And students will see this and people in the general public, a lot of people will hear your message. So what do you want to be sure they hear?
What I wish people to take from my story first is to realize that life really is short, and do good every day. Take your life as a gift and do something. Don't spend the time worrying or just feeling like the world is over. It will come to an end one day for each one of us, but we have to work when we can. I remember when I just find out my whole family had been killed the first night, and crying and screaming and just like, oh, what do I do? I never saw anyone who have gone through something like that. I don't have an idea how to live through this. And in our school that time, they were hiding us. We were not allowed to study the Holocaust. So really what you're doing to educate people is so beautiful. Because they knew if we learn and we can learn the consequences happen, many people might not do. So we didn't, they didn't tell us. So realizing what happened and crying and screaming, all of a sudden it occurred to me, wait, I can still die right now. I'm still in a refugee camp. A bomb can fall here and my life can be over. This is how I want to die? I want to die doing something good. Reaching out to somebody, again, through my faith, I will go through a judgment. What have you done with your life? How much have you loved? And I have to try to be inventing the way I can care right there in that refugee camp, in case that will be the last day of my life. So to do good, to use what you have, your energy, your voice, your strength, your breath to do good. Not to spend it like I wanted to be depressed and just like forget about it. Let me hide and pity me. And I had enough to cry for, but I realized again, it can be over. Do I need to die like this? So I had to help the soldiers to write the name of the people in the refugee camp, find out people who are sick, no medicine, but at least ask them how they're doing, just to love. So use your life today live it as if it was the last one. Try to be the best you can be in whatever way where you are living. You are a student, give your heart, do good, do in school, study well, so that you can use today saying, I have done my best. You are a mother, be the best you can be today. A father, be the best. A husband, a wife, a good friend, just be the best you can be in whatever ways where you are today. That's one thing I wish to tell people. Another thing is, you saw the horror I went through. It was terrible. And like I said, from the genocide, I know hell is real because I lived through it. And with that, I just want to tell people, please, no matter what you might be going through, because we all go through different kind of pain, remember there's always hope. Hold on to God. Don't give in. What you say yes to matters. It can be bad. I remember going through so much bad feeling inside when I was angry, confused. And then I remember feeling good in a worse situation just because my anger was gone. I was looking at life differently. I will live again. I will have a friend. As long as I love people, I will be happy. And that was driving me. If they're gone, so what? People die. And it's bad. But again, people die. If I live, I'm going to live my life. Whatever you might be going through, remember there is always hope with God. Don't give up. Hold on. Because that was the main reason when I wrote my book. I used to work, I was in an office where people would be crying and angry that they didn't get a promotion, or somebody in a family doesn't like them, or a friend, their boss doesn't like them. And the fact was those things were happening, but it's how you react to them. And these are the people I used to talk to. I'm like, it can get worse. You still have a lot to work with. Don't be depressed. Don't look down. Don't think it's over. Look in the face and accept whatever is happening. Not to accept, but it's happening. Don't complain about it, but find a solution in the moment. And that is what anytime I will share with people my story, this is what I went through. And then after, I have to find a room, a place to live, and I have to find a job just to buy my second clothes. For 4 months, I was in one clothes. And then I have to work. I have to find a job and do it honestly, because there were many temptations. People who wanted to give you for free, but with, what do you give me? And you really, again, like honoring my faith, I have to find a way to do things in a proper way. So with that, making steps every day, I saw answers coming. So please don't and again, these are the people who will tell me, anytime I hear your story, I feel like my problem are nothing. So people will be crying, they'll be smiling after they hear this terrible story. And that's when I say, let me write a book about this. So whatever you might be going through, individually from my heart to yours, please don't give up. Continue to hold on. And lastly, if I can forgive, anyone can forgive. There to go there. There's so much peace. There's so much. Yeah.
Oh, yes. That was amazing. I can't top that.
Do you have anything you want to ask, Immaculée?
Not ask. I just want to say thank you so much for having the courage to tell your story. You inspired me when I was 19, and you continue to inspire me when I'm 30. So thank you so, so much. I love you. Thank you.
I love you too, Malaika. It's so good to see a fellow Rwandan feeling and playing me. It's almost unreal. I'm like, she's a baby. And she's playing something like, I wish she'd never even have to know what happened, because it's just terrible to feel like adults can do things that can affect young people. So to see you crying through it hurts me, but it makes me happy too that you guys are so strong. The young people who are like, no, this is bad. It should never happen.
It never happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just hi to your mom.
Yes, I will. I'll say hi to her. Thank you.
So just to wrap up, have to say that I feel like I've really been touched by goodness tonight through your performance, through this beautiful production, through your beautiful words, your telling of this terrible story, but coming out of it with such a powerful message of faith and hope and forgiveness. So I just want to thank you. This has been a real gift, and I'm grateful. Thank you so much.
I also want to thank Leslie. Leslie, a beautiful lady who have thought about this. The first day we met, she's like, we're going to Rwanda, and I want to see that bathroom. And since then, she never got tired of continuing to tell my story, to share, and I really applaud her, because sometimes I'm like, really? Are you going to continue to have the courage to do it? And she does. So thank you, Leslie. Whenever you are, I know you are somewhere
Thank you,
here.
Leslie.
Yes, thank you, Leslie.
Thank you, Stephen, for directing.
Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you, Prime Stage. Thank you, Holocaust Center. Thank you, everyone.
Well, I hope we'll meet again. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye, soon.
mwegerane mbabwire icyo nsaba jyewe n'umuryango bene kanyarwanda turi umwe hoshi mureke kwitana rubanda mumpa akanya gatoya mutege amatwi mbahuze naje mwirengagize ubwo buto bwanjye igikurumba ni impanuro Rwanda naje warambyeyi naje waramfubyi naje nzanye urukundo ubumwe n'inganzo igihe n'iki nanjye ntanga impanuro ngaho ndaje ngaho ndaje ngaho ndaje Rwanda kuba ari nziza abo bawe batatu bahuza basangira ibere n'ibanga umurage ari umwe bikabahaza biratinda uwakanaraza ntiyabishima biramuhanda nibwo duhenze tumena ibanga atubera umuhanga wo kudutanya